Hi everyone, my name is Marissa and I'm very happy to be sharing space with you guys today. So just a little bit about me. I am an old soul, a cosmic traveler, and my purpose for being here on the planet at this time is to assist those that are going through their spiritual awakenings as well as the planetary awakening in general. So there's a myriad of ways that I have been called to do this throughout my years on this planet, and tarot has been one of those outlets that has recently come into my experience. And like the rest of you guys, I'm just following what feels the most right in each moment. And I've had a lot of fun doing this and have seen a lot of great healing and exciting new doors opening, in part due to the support that tarot provides. And I've heard many stories and accounts from you guys who have been tuning into my group readings as well as personal readings. I've heard many of you guys say the same thing. So I'm very happy to be on this journey with you guys. This is very rewarding for me and a very exciting time for us to be here, depending who you ask, I guess. So yeah, these readings are all about your collective karma. So the portion of karma that you chose to take on for the collective. So this is karma that is not necessarily what your soul needed in order to have certain upgrades and lessons. And it's tricky because we're always going to be learning, right? Whenever we take a human birth or any type of birth, any type of incarnation, the soul is going to be expanding and learning. However, the type of people that are drawn to my channel are generally older souls and starseeds and beings that are mainly here to help the planet with where it's at. And so these aren't lessons that you necessarily need to learn. However, they can most certainly still be challenging. And so we're going to dive into today what portions of the collective karma have you guys taken on, and we'll get a pretty good gauge about how you're addressing those things and hopefully how we can meet those aspects with a little bit more grace and ease and peace. All right. So 4 piles for you guys to choose from today. Always take your time. And whenever you're feeling ready, we're going to hop right into these readings. Hey, pile number 1. If you guys chose the Modern Witch Tarot deck, this is your reading for what you are currently clearing for the planet at this time, this incarnation. All right. So I feel like this is a pile that is very sensitive. Okay. You guys might have struggled with anxiety throughout your incarnation. And I feel like a lot of this is of your own doing. So a lot of this, okay. A little bit bold of a claim right off the jump. I feel like a better way of saying this is that there are certain events that probably happened within your earlier years that had kind of created a nervous system response within you that is kind of always on edge, okay? And I feel like after you guys have awakened or after you guys have, explored yourselves a little bit more, depending on what your age is, I feel like it's been difficult for you to kind of help that energy subside, okay? I'm seeing a big part of what it is that you took on for the planet is this type of fight, flight, or freeze energy, okay? It's feeling like no matter what is happening in life, no matter how good things get, I feel like there's this low-grade anxiety that is kind of still permeating your guys' experiences, okay? And this is you're not alone here. A lot of the times, older souls and beings that resonate with Earth not being their native planet, like this is quite common, right? This energy pervades a lot of people on this planet at this time. So that's something that your guides are really wanting to reiterate at this time, is that I feel like it's been something that you might have negatively judged yourself for, or just like I'm feeling a lot of frustration around it just in general. But yeah, I feel like a big part of the collective karma that you guys came to take on and heal is how to feel grounded and how to feel stable, and to not take the bait of what that preconditioning and that programming kind of suggested to you that you probably picked up in your early incarnation. Because I am seeing a lot here about childhood specifically, and that's generally when our karma is reinstated, whether that be personal karma or just like, you know, personal or collective. It doesn't really matter. Like if it's in your experience, it feels like it belongs to you, right? On one level, you can say it does, and on a higher level, you can also understand that it's all bullshit at the end of the day, and it's just, you know, it's just illusion, facade, right? I feel like you guys might have struggled with feeling like you've fit in throughout your incarnation as well, and it's because you're not meant to, okay? A lot of the beings that feel like they don't fit in, and no matter like how old they get, right, it's because you're not meant to. All right, because a lot of people that feel like they fit in somewhere, generally it's because they've given up a lot of who they came here to be, to appease their parents, to appease the people they grew up around, you know, kind of like putting on a show in terms of what it is they think other people want, okay? So I feel like ultimately, I feel like you are a safe space for a lot of people. You feel like home for a lot of people, pile number one. And even though it might have been a long time for you to like feel home and safe within yourself, I am seeing a big part, like a big reminder your guides are saying is that you're good, okay? Like you are taken care of. Because I feel like there is this underlying sense of always waiting for the next shoe to drop that I'm getting from this group. No matter how good things get, like I feel like you guys are in a place, or some of you guys are in a place where things are looking really good in your life, or things are looking up, right? And even when they don't, even when you meet crises and like this tower kind of energy that's coming through, I feel like you guys are, you know, wise enough to know and to understand that that just makes room for better, okay? And that's something that you're here to help teach the planet at this time, right? We have the extremes of life, honoring the extremes of life. Okay, I'm getting the sense that you guys might have like an astrological chart that has like your Pluto in Scorpio, or that there's a lot of Scorpio type of energy, Plutonian energy in your chart in general, because I am getting this Phoenix rising kind of energy from this pile. And, you know, a big part of what it is that you're here to teach the planet, the karma that you're here to help clear, is like the being afraid of crises. You know, understanding that that's part of life, right? Holding the extremes of life, honoring all of life, and the awakenings that often come along with crises, okay? The awakenings that can come along, like the spiritual awakenings that can go hand in hand with trauma, okay? And, you know, speaking for myself, a big part of my early incarnation, in my blueprint, there was a good degree of that, those traumatic experiences that also created that sense of dis-ease in my own nervous system, right? But because that catalyzes you, that suffering catalyzes you to seek questions, right? Or not seek questions, but to ask questions and to seek answers. And so, you know, you guys are working on the level of not just like beliefs, like mental beliefs, but not being a house divided against yourself. There's a lot here about like restoring your nervous system as well. And I do see like a lot of happiness in your life. I do see a lot of prosperity. I do see a lot of like you guys actually being more like being very in alignment, very in tune with your soul. I mean, we have this hermity kind of energy coming up twice with this 9 energy, right? I mean, April could be a significant month for you, September, June, the numbers 4, 9, and 6. That's something that I was just guided to bring up, okay? But overall, I am seeing that like, despite everything that might have happened early incarnation, and that you might be going through depending on your age, right? And this is something that's in your blueprint. Again, if you have that, a lot of that Plutonian energy in your chart, this is just like literally just part of your blueprint. This is part of how you are learning. This is part of how you are teaching, right? The wisdom that you gain through your crises, through when it seems like there's no hope, and when it seems like you've hit a fucking wall, and when it seems like you can barely catch your breath, right? There's another wave pounding down on you, but like just as you're barely catching your breath, like you are teaching so much. There's so much wisdom that I'm seeing that you guys have gained through those experiences, and that's something that you're here to help show other people, that you can still have fun. I see that you guys like thrive in chaos. All right, this doesn't mean we want to perpetuate chaos or we want to seek out those tower moments, but when they come, I see that you guys welcome them with open arms. And you know what? That is like people are in awe of this, pile number one. I am also hearing that this is one of the reasons why you make such a great partner. And whether or not you have are in a relationship, or you have a lot of relationships or what, but I feel like for my pile number ones, like you are a catch for a lot of people because you hold the fort down, right? You hold it down within yourself. You hold it down for other people. I am getting this kind of stoic nature. So even when like your insides are like breaking apart, like even when you're like internally just like in, hell and just freaking out, I feel like one of your protection mechanisms that you learned is putting on a tough facade, or putting on a facade as if everything's okay, because you've learned how to rely on yourself. You've learned how to turn into yourself, to turn inwards, to figure out what it means for you. And I feel like you don't put a lot of your trust in other people, because I feel like you might have seen how other people have utilized that, have like taken that trust that you put into them and kind of used it maybe to their own benefit. Or I feel like you guys like maybe just don't trust a lot of people with knowing those parts of you, because intuitively you understand that people don't have the same type of capacity as you to hold that powerful space of not judging, right? Not negatively judging for these things, okay? Not like attaching your sense of identity to these passing energy states, and just, how you view your world and how you're able to like take situations and digest them and extract the spiritual nutrients from those experiences is one of your gifts, okay? And I'm seeing in your codes, I'm seeing the potential for being a very great teacher, okay? And a lot of people looking up to you. You guys might have kids. You guys might work with kids. I'm hearing that's part of your karma as well. You might have families of your own. You might have just like very different types of families and different types of like cohabitations, I guess. But I am seeing that, a big part of what you're helping to clear is, despite what might seem like it's going on the surface, I feel like you guys understand that there's like a deeper reasoning for these things. And so you help people investigate their own beliefs through, everything that you help other people do, at some point it's like, especially, old souls naturally teach, okay? And there's so many different ways that we can do that. There's so many different ways that you can be a teacher of this knowledge, but essentially it's like, what the hermit energy is you go on your path, right? You're walking your path. You go through trials and tribulations, and whatever you have learned from this life and other lifetimes, right? It's about sharing that shamelessly, right? Unapologetically, confidently sharing that. And I feel like there has been a lot of you needing to investigate some deep-seated anxieties you have about life. And, I feel like there's been a lot of, it's like you guys, a big challenging aspect of your karma, this collective karma, is not waiting for that shoe to drop. I feel like as soon as things start to get really good and like things start to take off and they're moving in a good direction, and I feel like things are consistently moving in that better and bigger and brighter. But I feel like there's this force. I can just feel this force of like, I'm so happy. I feel so good. I feel so free. Things are getting better. And then in the back of my mind, there's like, but what if? Or like, it's hard to even explain, but just waiting for that next thing, that next crisis to come up. And I feel like, one thing that your guides are really coming through to reiterate is the lessons become less challenging, right? You don't need as big of a catalyst and as deep of suffering externally for you to start to integrate or to like transcend certain challenges and to like assimilate what those are here for you to like upgrade. I'm sorry, this is so hard to explain, because like you guys are already so tuned in. And so it's interesting that there's like, you guys are very tuned in and you guys have a deep spiritual awareness of the way things work, and that that you're going to be good, right? Ultimately everything is going to be good, but you could be enjoying the experience so much more. But again, I feel like there's just this low grade kind of like what if, and just like past anxieties that kind of like permeate your field. And I feel like that's one of the biggest challenges, at least at this point, that you guys are drawn to this video. Okay. Because especially at this point on the planet, you guys, there's a lot of that to go around, right? There's a lot of that, just being fed all of these like fear-based, fear-mongering types of narratives. And there's a lot of anxiety on the planet. So because you guys have this kind of like very active energy cord within you, it seems like the weight of the world, it can seem so heavy. And like, you guys just want to be free of it, right? You're just like, come on, I've been doing this work for so long. Like, I get it. Like, like it's, when can I catch a break? But a big part of the collective karma that you're helping to clear is that you can like bask in the joy and the light despite this stuff still being there. Like, you can be aware of this kind of clearing itself out, because that's the thing about when you're open and you're raw and you're a child, and then you have traumatic experiences, or even when you're open and raw as an adult and you have a kind of traumatic experience where something just like, I don't know, just kind of leaves you in that state of feeling like, your adrenaline is released, or that fight, flight, or freeze, that permeates to a deeper level than if you're kind of already like, good and just like, I don't want to say closed off, but it's just, there's a deeper type of penetration that can happen within our belief system and our fields, our cellular body, our energetic body, our spiritual body, when we're so open and raw, right? And so undoing those types of traumas can take a longer time than when you're just like, you're already set, the foundation is good, you're good, and then those traumatic kind of things try to enter your field, and you're get like fear mongering here, and it's like it can't really get through to you. Right? But if you've already had an experience that is similar to those codes of like, it's not going to work out, or, you're going to end up on the streets, or whatever it is, pandemic, this, whatever. Okay. Like, it's a lot easier for you to have echoes of that past. And so those echoes of that past, like, can create such this like reverberation of a, like, I'm getting this kind of spaciness where it's hard to really enjoy what's happening around you. And it's because of this, like, what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body is going through these purges. Okay. And so it's important to just like not let that stop you from where it is that you want to go. Don't let that stop you from what it is that you need to do. Like, go about your life, go about your day to day. And just because you're having these deep purges, it doesn't mean that anything is going to actually happen. Okay. And your guides are asking you, look back on all the other times where you had those what if scenarios, and see how many times it actually came true, or see if it did come true, was it really that bad? But I am hearing for many of you guys, the things that you thought were like the scariest, a lot of the times they didn't actually come true, and you suffer over and over and over and over again, right? When you perpetuate a what if scenario that never happened and that probably will never happen. It's like there's a sense of needing to find peace in this moment. Okay. There's a deep connection between this hermity energy, right? And there's also a deep connection between, the 9 cards, right, with the hermit. And so the hermit is all about meditation, right? And so what is one of the 9 cards that also has a lot of this anxiety, riddled throughout it, is the 9 of Swords. And that's almost like losing your shit. Okay. That's like, I'm about to have a fucking psychotic break, is the 9 of Swords energy. And so it's important to counterbalance that when you're in that state with like just really observing what's happening with your mind without attaching your narrative, without attaching your sense of identity to those things. And that's going to help this clear a lot more easily. But overall, I do feel like, one of the areas that this might tend to show up is in family life, is in your partnerships, all to various, in just different ways in general of feeling like you're not fully safe and feeling like you're not fully taken care of. Okay. And a big part of, I feel like it's just essential to remember that the more heavy something feels for us, so the more intense we feel something around a certain subject, all right, just tune into that. Like, the more anxiety you feel around a certain area in your life in particular, it's very safe to say that there are many, many, many people on the planet that feel similar ways, that similar sense of deep anxiety around the same thing. Okay. And so it's like the stronger souls really do take on these collective areas, because it's like you're able to tune into that field, that reality bubble around that anxiety about that topic. And through your like shining your own light of wisdom through breathing through it and being like, this is nothing. I'm attaching this meaning. None of this shit means anything. Right. And allowing your house to restore itself. So allowing your nervous system to restore itself and not taking the bait of that past conditioning, those past traumatic experiences. You're infusing your light into that group consciousness. Right. And so a lot of these beings, like my guides call it etheric pathways. Okay. So when you have plummeted to what you feel like is the bottom of the most, the hellest of the hellholes, the darkest of the hellholes, the hottest of the hellholes, and you are able to make your way out of it, you just made it that much easier for someone else, to do the same. So you guys are doing a lot of deep clearing of like psychic wounds. But you know what? There's a being named Bashar, and he says, he has this analogy of the slingshot effect or the rubber band effect. And it's the deeper that you're pulled into the dark, it's like when you finally let go of that rubber band being pulled into the dark, the faster and the farther you fling into the light. And so that's why there's such a contrast in your experience of having these moments of feeling like deeply suffocated by your own mind, not even necessarily what's going on outside. I feel like it's mainly happening in your nervous system, right? And then also I feel like you have moments where you feel so blissed out and you just like know that you're on the right track and good things happen for you. People flock to you. You're such a ray of light. You're such a ray of warmth. And I feel like people want to build a community and a family with you, and people feel safe around you. You just have this very nurturing, warm, understanding, like motherly, fatherly type of energy. Okay. And, a big part of what you're conveying and teaching is like, I'm going to find peace no matter what the fuck's going on in my mind, no matter what the fuck's going on outside of me. I'm going to feel peace because I deserve that and I can choose that. Where my focus goes is what's going to grow, okay? And you're choosing. A big part of your challenge and a big part of your contribution to the planet is controlling your mind, my friend, okay? Not repressing your emotions, but controlling your mind. Okay, because there's a lot of nervous system healing you're doing, and that I feel like you're also going to help other people do, and you're breaking a lot of generational karma as well. So collective karma, but also familial karma. A lot of you guys here today are the first within your family to wake up, the first within your families to have an awakening, spiritual awakening, true awakening of true spirituality, okay? And so there's a lot, right? That's a lot, okay? And you're doing a great job. And there's good things in store, adventures, people. And, it's just really important that you're consistently finding space to really ground into yourself, breathing deeply into your low diaphragm. So really letting your low belly expand to release all those calming hormones, and whatever you need to do to help restore your nervous system and to remember it's all good. Okay. Thank you guys so much for your service on the planet at this time. This is incredible. These are powerful energies and you have all that you need. Everything's good. All right. So if you guys chose pal number 1 today, maybe leave something down below. Maybe leave an owl in the comment section to represent this old soul kind of energy that's been coming through, or a bumblebee if you want. If you have anything to share, that's awesome. Sometimes sharing helps really integrate these codes that come through. And I do hope to see you on my channel again soon. Please like this video also. That helps. That just helps these readings reach more people. All right. Much love, my friends. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading for what it is that you are here to clear for the planet at this time. Man, I was like, okay, Spirit, like what? Okay, I was like, what's negative about this? And I'm not saying that karma is necessarily like always negative, but because honestly, for someone to be embodying the codes or to have this type of blueprint that I'm seeing that you guys have, I mean, this is pretty epic. This energy, man, like, this is a good group to choose. Not that there's any group that's like bad to choose, but I'm just saying, you guys have a lot of good going on in your field, okay? I don't even know where to start. So first and foremost, I feel like, if anything, your most challenging aspect in this incarnation, with the specific karma you came to clear, you don't fit in. All right. You definitely stand out like a sore thumb, regardless of how much you have maybe tried to fit in throughout your life. There's a lot here. I'm just noticing the snakes right now. Okay. So, I'm noticing the snakes, and there's multiple meanings coming through for that. And then you have the 7 of Swords, you have the 3 of Swords. I mean, we have the Lovers and the 3 of Cups. So I feel like you might have like struggled with people being jealous of you or being envious of you, or like, frenemies type of energy too. Okay. People being kind of snaky, saying one thing to you, to your face, and then another behind your back or something. I feel like people are just like, man, it's like, you're just so good. Okay. It's almost like group 2, you're too good to be true. And so I feel like people try to seek out like flaws, but at the same time, with the She-Wolf and this Demeter card, I feel like you're not trying to hide them, but it's like, you're so confident. You're like true confidence, which is embracing all aspects of yourself. I mean, we have the She-Wolf, which is very instinctual. It's very wild. It's very like going off the whims of where you're being guided without a sense of being too, like, caring about the repercussions. But I feel like it's because you have really learned to trust yourself and to trust your journey. And I feel like you trust yourself to the extent that you know that you're not going to put other people in harm's way. I feel like sometimes we hear that and people get like, oh, like, you know, don't tell people that there's no right or wrong, because then people might do, you know, shitty stuff. And I'm like, well, that's not the type of people I'm working with anyway. So bye. You know what I mean? Like, get out of here with that bullshit. Like, pile number 2, you have a good internal compass. I'm actually seeing something here that kind of looks like a compass, okay? You guys have a good internal compass and you're here for the planet, all right? The Sage card really is a card about teaching. All right. Being devoted and committed to your being the best version of yourself every day. All right. And this is someone that other people look up to. This is someone that other people count on for spiritual guidance, for philosophical guidance, to just like feel okay in the world. We have 2 full moons coming up too. So that really tells me that you really help people see through a more expanded lens of perception around their own emotions, around their own feelings, around just like their life in general. Okay. But I am hearing that you stand out in a really big way, okay? There is something here too about maybe one of your challenges is it might be taking you long. It might seem long to you, but it might feel like it's taken a long time to like lock into your thing, okay? Like maybe if you're comparing to other people, which, you know, I feel like is rare for this group because you're so bomb and I think you know it. But like I am noticing that these are like older individuals, okay? Like, you know, like 30s to above and beyond, okay? And so it's like, if it feels like you weren't that person to like lock into something when you were 7 freaking years old, you know, whatever, to like find your purpose, it's okay. You know, like there's always going to be this sunset old souls have. And if you resonate with being a starseed, you know, starseeds have of like time is running out because like, you know, we are kind of here to help influence the planet at a tricky time, at somewhat of a chaotic time. And so, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I need to pause this. I think my dogs are shitting in the shower again. All right, I am back. I know you guys probably didn't notice a difference, but okay, I feel like I just got to clear some stuff up. So my dog, something funky is going on with their stomachs and they booty holes, okay? Because 2 separate times walked into the bathroom and there was diarrhea in the shower. Okay, and at least they're like kind enough to do it in the shower because it makes like cleaning up easier. But I heard them. I heard their little claws on the shower floor. So I was like, not this time. Okay, so anyways, that was more that you needed to know. All right, so pile number 2, I feel like, what has gotten you to this place, especially the second meaning of the snakes, is really about, you know, consistently shedding skins. But we have the 6 of Wands energy too, so consistently coming up on top, okay? Like, I feel like you tend to be in the spotlight whether or not you like it, because you just house the codes of being someone that people want to follow. You naturally stand out, all right? And this is something you might have shied away from in the past or something. Like maybe you actually had kind of some instability in your early incarnation that kind of created a lot of anxiety, created a lot of fear. But I feel like the more that you've surrendered to your path and just surrendered to your own power, the more that you've kind of surprised yourself along the way. I am seeing a lot of potential here. You know, the 7 cards talk about like looking back, like it's like figuring out, do I stay the course or where do I go from here? It's kind of like new opportunities, or do I continue investing in this direction that I'm going in, right? So I feel like there's a lot here about seeing the progress you've made over time. Okay. And also there's a lot here about time in terms of really locking into what it is that you're here to do. And so there might be some frustration, and that's also part of the karma. You know, these things are very layered. All right. These are very layered types of readings. We could have hundreds of readings about collective karma, personal karma, soul blueprint, that kind of thing, and still feel like we've barely scratched the surface. All right. But another layer of this, these codes I'm seeing in particular is, again, trusting no matter the age of your body or whatever, you know, something so like irrelevant, but that modern culture has made much more important than it needs to be. Like this is about like consistently changing, all right, with the times, especially with this Andromedan energy. It's like very like freedom loving. Okay. Andromedans are very freedom seeking, and a lot of that kind of Sagittarius energy, like rebel with a cause and don't want to tie me down, don't lock me down kind of thing, consistently changing. So you guys might have like prominent, your signs. You might have prominent signs that are mutable, like Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and whatever. What's the last one? I have it written down somewhere. Gemini, yeah. So you guys might have, placements in significant areas, or those could be like houses that you also have, those like ninth house, sixth house, third house, whatever the other one is. I'm trying to like stay focused on the overall message here, but I feel like that might just be a big source of frustration for some of you guys, is that, it doesn't feel like you're locked into just one thing, and you might just be really tuned into your overall purpose, right? Your purpose and your calling can stay the same, but the vehicle to which you execute that might change as you do, is kind of the thing that I'm getting. And so I feel like too, your creative endeavors might come in when you least expect them, and just it's about trusting, right? It's like, I heard Russ, he's like a rapper artist or something. He mentioned like having that fear, artists kind of have this fear of like waiting for the next piece of music to come through. And he's like, it's not something you can force. And he's like, I've always kind of had that fear, like after, you're doing so good and you put out so many like bangers, so many hits, so many things that people are like into, that people are receiving very well. And then getting to that point of like, oh my God, is it going to come? And then he's like, and it always does. Okay. So like trusting your creative process, I think, is a big thing for you guys, a big part of your karma, a big part of the collective karma, and trusting your creativity to help lay a solid foundation in terms of finances, in terms of like, I feel like your creativity even has the potential of like taking you places, like taking you on adventures, taking you like traveling, meeting new people, networking. Okay. There's something about you that just like, when you walk into a room, I feel like all eyes are on you. You're very magnetic, pile number 2, okay? And I feel like a big part of it too is that you are very deeply in tune with your emotions. You don't bypass them. There's a poetic sense that I'm getting behind this group. So you guys might be writers too, with all of that Mercurian energy that I did notice coming through. You guys might be writers or speakers of some sort, and you might have, just some sort of outlet where you're expressing yourself creatively. That's a big part of the karma that you're coming in with, is I feel like it's challenging because it seems like a pathway that, it's the road less traveled. Okay. It's the one that seems more risky, but at the end of the day, you guys know who the fuck you are. Okay. And so that's something that people cannot take away from you, no matter, God, I just had a personal friend, like someone really close. Her husband was, in a position for like 30 years and never thought it would ever happen to him, like one of the top in his field, and was recently let go. And so that, he was, of all people, someone that never would have thought that would happen to him. Okay. And so we have this weird idea of what security truly is, and you're helping rewrite the script of what that is. And it's following your deepest truth against all fucking odds. Okay. And that takes big balls, pile number 2. That takes BDE, okay? Big destiny energy of like, you're not going to take someone else's word for it. Okay. And I feel like a lot of people want this type of energy that you exude, the confidence, the charisma, I'm going to do it anyways. Like, you guys just might be very bold in your appearance, how you express yourself. Like, you don't care. All right. But they don't understand how much you had to go through to get there. Okay, how many beliefs you had to meet within yourself, how much darkness you had to face within yourself with this full moon energy. It's like, the thing about the full moon is like, yes, it's the moon, it's the illusions, it's the delusions, it's the confusions, but it's illuminated. It's an illuminated moon. So there's like a comfort that you have learned to have with your shadow, with your darkness. And there's a difference between like being too comfortable with the shadow or the darkness in terms of you're just unaware with it and you don't mind being a shitty person. That's not you. Pile number 2, it's like being comfortable and being like shining the light of your awareness on the things that you need to work on. But at the end of the day, you're not going to sit around feeling shitty or sorry for yourself because you have this stuff to work on. It's part of why you're here. And I feel like people really don't see, like how much you have to fight to finally let those scales tip, to be at the place to where you feel so good about yourself. And despite what might come up, residuals. I'm also hearing that, sorry, sometimes I don't finish a thought because something else is jumping up. But yeah, just to finish off that thought, I feel like people just really don't see like that takes a lot of perseverance to get to a point. And it takes a lot of tower moments and a lot of surrendering to things and jumping into those directions that you're really scared to do. It takes doing that over and over again to where those scales tip and you're like, oh my God, this is real. Like, this is a thing. Like, life can be really good and I can trust myself and it can be fun. And man, it feels so free. But people also don't realize the work it takes to get there. Okay. And, all this kind of weird ass energy, these side eyes that you tend to get or whatever, and people maybe not appreciating like the frenemy thing of even bosses. I've had bosses do this to me even where I started to shine really bright and they felt intimidated. They felt like I was outshining them. And so they would like do things to try to like kind of humiliate me or like kind of like make me like shrink. Right. And it was really subtle the way that they did it. Not so subtle to me or, I don't know. Okay. Not to get too much about me, but it wasn't, they thought it was subtle, but I was like, I know what the fuck's going on here. And so bye. And I dipped out of that place. And now like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I was actually on my run. I was like, I'm so fucking grateful that I was just like, watch me thrive without you. Okay. Because there's no greater satisfaction than that of like, I will not dim to fit in. I will not dim my light and I don't need you. Okay. I don't need anyone to succeed. And understanding the right people, like the more that you just embody yourself shamelessly, like the people that aren't meant to be in your field, the people that were more comfortable around you, dimming yourself down because it made them feel brighter, they can't stand your light. And so they're going to flee. They're going to rid themselves of your field. And the people that were really there for you, they will make themselves known. I am seeing there is a lot of that about community and like having people, like relationships is where you really shine. People genuinely look up to you and see you as a leader and see you as a true friend, see you as someone that they can really go to in the toughest things, right? With their toughest betrayals, just like honoring the entire human experience. But I also am hearing because you're so open and because you're so giving and you're so here for the pack, for the people, that it has opened and it has allowed energy to come into your field that didn't deserve to see some aspects of yourself, right? Like didn't deserve to get glimpses into the deepest parts of yourself that you kind of allowed people to see. And that's whatever. I feel like you get this game so much because you are such an old soul. You're a very cosmic, advanced soul. Okay. And so you get it. You get that. All right. Like learning boundaries, like, learning who can like how to funnel this and how to contain your energy. So it's not being leaked away by these energy vampires and stuff. Okay. But I feel like ultimately a big part of, man, like this is why I was like, what's the bad? But again, I feel for you, pile number 2, because it's like people get really attached to you. I feel like you probably have a different relationship to relationships in general. You probably, don't do this on purpose. I know you don't do this on purpose, but I feel like you break people's hearts just because they can so easily get attached to this fantasy of you. Because you're just one in a million, and y'all can see what I see. I'm not making this up. Y'all see what I see. Okay, this is literally screaming like that. They can just get so attached to you, and I feel like you can sense that really quick. You guys really don't allow people to disempower themselves by giving their power to you, and so I feel like you set it straight. You like take space when you need to. You cut things off when you need to. And I feel like you're a person too, an individual that's aware that you're not controlling these things from this level, that you're just responding to your own higher wisdom. Okay. And you do your best. You guys operate from a deep level of integrity, but I do feel like a challenging aspect might be in romantic dynamics and maybe sometimes friendships. But I feel like, you guys just see things differently. Like you would be the person you understand that I don't need to talk to someone every day to know that I love them. I don't need to, like all of these weird rules that the culture or society puts around like what it means to be in a healthy relationship. I think I deeply see and I feel that you guys have a different way of relating to that, and you know what true love is, right? It's like, open palm. So people come and go as they need to. And I feel like for you guys, there's not you have mad love. You guys can really channel your love. Your love is very healing to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it's like you're self-sourced. And so you don't require the other individual or those circumstances. You don't require them. It's like there's not a neediness that comes from pile number 2. Okay. And so that can be kind of like intimidating, and people are like, can maybe misinterpret your best of intentions, but it's like, you know, you're just a leader. Leaders see more than other people. And so that's why people that are just like, you know, the Steve Jobs and the Amazon guy or whatever, like people called them fucking crazy, but it's like they were tuned into their vision and they did not give up. And sometimes that is the hardest path of like being so tuned in to something that other people can't see, and so tuned in to like, you know, your unique qualities, you know, being so like a black sheep kind of energy that, you know, it can be hard. It can be sometimes a very lonely path is what I'm trying to say. This kind of sagey energy. And we can crave those long-term partnerships and those long-term relationships, but I am seeing that you guys change a lot. Your environment changes a lot. Again, the vehicle that you use to share your gifts and to share your teachings, I feel like that changes a lot as well. And so there can be part of you that kind of like maybe second guesses yourself, but ultimately you do what you need to do. You know, and so there is this sense of you can release some of that, you know, that you're doing something wrong or that you need to change who it is that you came here to be. But it is that you're here to set the tone, okay? For this type of advancement that I'm seeing, you guys are here to set the tone. You're like a tuning fork, right? Tuning forks emit the frequency. They affect those other things that come into its field, but it would be asking a lot for the tuning fork to think these other things would then start to be able to vibrate at the same level that they are at, okay? It's like you see things differently. You love in a different way than most people. And so, you know, it would be asking a lot to expect them to be able to meet you where you're at, but it's easy for you to see where other people are at, right? That's just like, yeah. So there's a lot of challenges within the amount of freedom that you guys have the capacity to embody, that you're already embodying. And I'm hearing it's only going to get better, okay? And you will continue it to meet people that are on your level if you haven't already met them, right? People that are on your level, your circumstances will start to reflect that. You know, the situations that you're in will become like, though maybe they're normal to you and they feel so right for you, but that might just look so different from what the norm is. And that's what you're here to do. That's what you're here to teach. That's what you're here to convey is like, you know, normal, what is normal except a cage, you know, a cage of our own, just like shared agreements. Right. But the more you honor your true nature, which is what you guys, I feel like is really in your codes, like very eccentric true nature, no matter how different it looks, the more free you're going to be. Okay. And that's again, that confidence that cannot be taken away from you. All right. No matter circumstances, no matter what. All right. So beautiful codes. Okay. Beautiful codes. I want to know who chose this pal. Okay. Hit me up down below. All right. I want to know who it is. Leave a wolf in the comment section if you have nothing else to share, or a full moon if you want, maybe a snake too. And leave a thumbs up on this video. It really helps my content reach more people, all right? More souls just like you. And yeah, I do hope to see you guys on my channel again soon. Much love. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading for what it is that you are helping the planet clear at this time. So right away, I mean, the first 2 cards I flipped over were these cards. I actually had to rearrange because you guys had a lot of tarot cards come out, but we have both Star Family and Star Ancestors come through. So I haven't had a group like this in a while, honestly, where it was so clear, so obvious that, I mean, this was a group that probably has a lot of star seeds, or people that resonate with star seeds, or, you know, cosmic travelers, beings that feel like Earth is maybe not their native planet. Even if it feels like you have come to Earth many times before, I feel like you guys are just cosmic travelers and you have been around the celestial block, okay? But yeah, for both of those cards to come up, it was very apparent. This is very clear. It's very clear that these are beings, the beings drawn to this pile, you guys house within you like ancient wisdom, okay? Ancient codes. I heard that when I was tuning into this shaman card as well, tuning into higher forces. So first and foremost, you guys have a team of guides that are overseeing the planetary ascension at this point in time, okay? So it's really important that we're consistently calling on them, consistently asking them for their protection, asking them for their guidance. And, you know, it's cool and everything to go out and to like ask other people, or maybe not ask other people, but to tune into other teachings, right? And other like spiritual teachers. But you guys do come in with a very unique connection to something beyond just like earth teachers, right? Something beyond just old souls that tend to just incarnate on Earth alone. And while Earth's wisdom is incredible because, Earth is one of the most challenging star planets or star systems, universities that we can come to as souls, there are some... You guys, those that are drawn to this pile, you guys have ancient wisdom within you from other planets, okay? And other experiences you've had from other star systems. And you have a very unique connection to spirituality and spiritual law and how that operates on this planet, okay? So you guys might be into like channeling, into beings like Bashar, or even like Lee Harris, I know, channels, like Abraham Hicks, what else? Cryon, right? There's a ton of people that are channeling beings that are not necessarily, some of them haven't even taken incarnation before on Earth. So sometimes their teachings can feel a little bit ungrounded, right? So that's just that was random, but you guys are here to make it grounded, okay? You guys are here to take that celestial kind of wisdom and to make it practical on Earth, because we can have these incredible, like out of this world kind of like teachings, but it can be hard to apply on Earth, and it can be hard to fully like believe in, I guess, because these are beings that haven't necessarily, they don't know, right? They haven't actually had incarnations on planet Earth, so it can be hard to say, how these things can work, right? So I feel like a big part of what you guys are here to do is to connect with other people that are kind of like, you're here to build communities, okay? You're here to build communities, and there's definitely a sense of togetherness that I'm getting from this group in particular. There's a sense of building something, right? Building some sort of like, maybe even community, or you guys might already be growing a community, but a big part of what your mission here is to undo this sense of like this poverty mindset that is very rampant on our planet, okay? And I feel like a big part of how you guys do that is honestly by, a lot of these teachings that I just mentioned, these teachers, they do talk about like following your heart, right? And a big way that you guys are here helping to clear the collective karma is there's a lot of people that feel like they have to break their back in order just to survive. There's this idea on Earth, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, that you have to trade your entire life just to make it by, okay? Four of Pentacles can also talk about that kind of like impoverished mindset of like, holding your coins close to you, not making investments that could potentially set you free long-term. You might not see like short-term benefits, but you guys are here. It's like the Ace of Cups, that kind of Pleiadian type of teaching, that Pleiadian energy. You guys should actually look up that song if you haven't already heard it. It's called Ace of Cups. Gosh, I forget who it's by, but I'm sure there's not too many, there's not too many songs called the Ace of Cups, but it's very cosmic, and it sounds like this Pleiadians. If I knew what they sounded like, I bet it would sound just like them, okay? It's a very cosmic song, and you'll know it when you hear it. You're like, yeah, this is what Marissa was talking about, okay? That's a really great song that just came through, but you guys are here to undo this like poverty mindset, and that you have to fight, there's a lot of competition, everyone, like someone has to lose out kind of thing on Earth, right? Someone has to lose in order for me to win. We have to be deceptive. We have to be envious, right? We have to kind of like step on other people to get what we want, right? So in a big way, and this is very challenging, right? Because it's so thick, like this impoverished mindset is so thick and so dense on our planet, like it can feel so hard. I totally get it. It can feel so hard to like work through these things, but you guys have a really strong connection to astral beings, right? You guys have a really strong connection to yourself in general. This is not your first time being on a challenging planet in general, right? And a big part of what is going to help you throughout these moments where it feels like you're starting to question what you deep down know to be true. And I feel like a big part for you guys of clearing this karma is just noticing when you do tend to play it safe. Noticing when that does tend to come up, when you do want to take a trip, right? And it's a little spendy, but like that's just what you're guided to do. That's what feels right. That feels the most loving. It feels the most celebratory, right? Just notice when that comes up. And I'm not giving financial advice, but like do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the only way that we can tackle these things is head on, right? And to just be as present as we can with those things that come up, right? Those things that those uncomfortable sensations of what it means to be clearing karma. It feels heavy, right? It does feel like you're carrying a lot. It does feel like just to your like body, your cellular body, because you're taking a human birth, it feels like I shouldn't be doing this. But that's part of like, that's what it means to be clearing karma, right? It feels heavy. It feels restricted. It feels constricted, but a deeper part of you knows that things could be better, knows that it is, right? Knows that by spiritual law, or whatever you want to call it, universal forces respond to courage. Universal forces respond to people that are in flow with the Tao, right? And so being protective and like hoarding and that kind of mentality is not in flow with the Tao. And so if you feel inspired to do something, to take a trip, to invest in someone that you love, to invest in yourself, to take a course or something, you're doing it, right? And then knowing that, you know what, the payoff from there, even if you can't see it immediately, you'll feel it immediately because you know you made a decision that was in alignment with the flow, with the Tao. And so you're not constricting the pipes of abundance, right, to come through. And so I'm hearing that it has been maybe a little bit hard and challenging for you guys, but you're also a big part of how you're helping to clear this karma is, again, being around other people. Like, it's like that phrase, like when two or more, that saying from the Bible, when two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. It's like being around other people that are also on this pathway of like setting themselves free, right? And understanding that everyone can win, right? And allowing things to come to you. It's not this mentality of I have to go out and make it happen. That's this 10 of Wands energy versus the Empress is like, no, things just come to me effortlessly. Like I know when to move, I know how to move, that kind of thing. And undoing this sense of like, the sense of corruption that honestly tends to be very rampant on this planet. And that's very obvious, especially for starseeds. Like you guys have in your blueprints, you guys have in your codes, you are here to like sniff out corruption even on a very subtle level. So I feel like this is a group that might even be challenging for you to work for large corporations or people that, you know, are very clearly out for their own self and don't treat people like people, right? You guys come in with such a powerful, like it's that indigo force, right? That indigo power of just like sniffing out corruption, sniffing out exploitation, sniffing out just like inequality and like shining the light of your awareness on it, right? I am noticing too that this kind of looks like both of them look like they're holding shields, okay? And so I feel like a big part of, there's just a reminder coming through that you guys are like deeply protected, okay? The shaman energy too is really interesting because I feel like we're all kind of traumatized in that area of like feeling like we have a steady foundation, right? I feel like there's many people that feel like it could happen for other people, but maybe not necessarily them. So what shamans do, the path of the shaman is to essentially go on spirit travels, astral travels, and to do what's known as soul retrieval. And so essentially they're going in and they're kind of like reclaiming the parts of someone that has been lost. Like soul retrieval, the belief behind that is that your soul, like through trauma or through like certain experiences and even just like carry over like karma, generational karma, past life karma, that parts of our soul become lost, right? And essentially they, like a demon has like taken that part of the soul, okay? And so shamanism is about going back and retrieving that, okay? And so a big part of like what you guys are here to do, like these are my modern day light warriors and light workers. You guys are doing that on a very practical and realistic and tangible level, okay? By investigating your own belief systems, by speaking about these things, and by voicing these things, voicing your innermost truth, okay? And following your heart, following where you're being guided above anything else, and knowing that it's always worked out for you. It's never not worked out for you. You've never not had enough. Sometimes things have gotten tight, yeah, of course, but you've always been taken care of. It's always worked out for you, okay? This is also like it says calling in support. So sometimes we have this idea of being on this road less traveled, and being on a path of abundance means that we have to do it by ourselves. I'm sorry, that's not the point of the planet that we're on. The time on this planet is all about moving into that fourth density consciousness. That's that Christ consciousness. That's that we're in this together, all for one and one for all kind of mentality, okay? And so a big part of this is leaning on your brothers and sisters, being transparent to people that are able to meet you where you're actually at, not opening up to people that really, can't support you like you can support other people, okay? But there is something here about long-term stability and not getting lost in that like instant gratification mentality that we can tend to have, right? Overnight success. What is that? There's that saying of it. It's just, someone that blows up overnight has probably been doing something for a very long time. Okay. They've probably been working at something for a very long time, but it's just like they tend to blow up because the stars aligned and it was just ready because they had gone through that purification process and it was time for their message to get out. But there's a lot here about you guys speaking, okay, and expressing yourself and owning who it is that you came to be. Utilizing the resources that you have, not waiting for perfection, and not waiting for you to feel like you're perfect. Okay, not waiting to feel like you're whole and you're already complete and waiting to like have that certification or whatever. This is so interesting because it's like the wisest souls that I come across are generally the souls that like are the most like timid about speaking up and sharing their truth. They're the most likely to be the ones that are like, well, who am I? Who am I to think that I know about this or to share about this? And it's like the people that are like, with peace and love fucking up the planet the most are the ones that have no fucks and like are probably, saying more than they have, than they're even credible to say. Okay. And so it's like, there's a lot here about just speaking up and believing in yourself a little bit more. You are a cosmic soul. You are a very ancient and old and wise soul. And there's a lot here about going within, centering yourself, right? Making decisions from a place of peace. There's a lot here about part of the wisdom that you have gathered throughout many incarnations, throughout, different planetary systems as well. This is one of those things that applies no matter what planet you're on, okay? This is what I'm currently hearing, okay? Of like, learning how to make decisions, right? And the more that we tune into ourselves, the more that we deepen into ourselves, the more that we breathe, the more that we like turn off our phones and disengage from the stimulation nation that's meant to just like fucking scatter us and keep us confused and like not connected with our innermost self. That's why emotions are so controlled on this planet. You'll hear that in this song if you do listen to this. That's why emotions are so controlled on this planet, is because if you keep people in a state of fear and confusion and disconnected from themselves, they're more easy to control, right? And so there's something here that says like it's really important that you guys are learning more and more to center yourself and you're making decisions that are based off of faith and love and what's exciting and what feels the most possible, and to the best of your ability. You're not making decisions out of scarcity, out of lack, etc. And again, this is not something that happens overnight, right? It's like you can have this sense of like excitement, right? And this is something you guys have probably been working at for some time. And some of you guys are even like, this is fucking bullshit. Some of you guys are like, I'm done believing in this. I don't believe in like law of attraction, manifestation, good things happen, and your guides are really wanting to say patience. Okay. Good things take time. All right. Unearthing your truth takes time. But the more that you own your expression, the more that you own who it is you came to be, the more that you just do things because it's like what feels the most loving to do in that moment. The more that like, that's all law of attraction really is, if you think about it. Okay. I'm about to make a video on my main channel about this because someone's like, hey, can you talk about your experiences of manifesting? And it's interesting because I used to have to work really hard at it, right? At manifesting. But the more that I just like became comfortable in who I was, the more things just come to me. And it doesn't feel like I'm having to struggle against my own belief systems. It's like, things just come and things that happen, opportunities come, money comes, the community comes, which has been the most incredible manifestation of any of them, of any money I've manifested or of any job opportunities I manifested. Like the most incredible thing that has come so far is a community. Okay. And that's what you're here to build. And that's something that's going to that's already happening for you in your own way. You guys might already be on your way of this. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you are already well on your way. Right. And so I feel like you guys also just have big dreams of helping other people, of teaching other people, of helping other people come out of that. Right. You guys, I'm seeing that there's a lot of you guys that are very different. Right. If you put everyone that's all of pile 3 in a room, I'm hearing you guys would seem so like demographically like diverse in a really beautiful way. And what's great about that is like the people that I can impact wouldn't be the people that you can impact. The people you can impact, vice versa, So it's like we need all of our star family coming together and infiltrating the system and all of those, in all of the ways that we can and all of the different demographics that we can and all the uniqueness, all the unique qualities that you come in with are your gifts, okay? Because that makes other people that might not be able to get these teachings otherwise, it's made possible through someone like you. Okay. And so it's important that you're expressing yourself. You're not holding yourself back. You're, remembering at the end of the day what it is that you're here for. That's always going to center you when it becomes about what's my mission and less about me, right? That's what self-consciousness is really, right? Is like to focus on me. And so that that tends to really easily diminish when you're making it about, okay, what am I here for? What's the bigger picture of all of this, right? You're zooming that lens of perception way, way out. So you're expressing yourself, you're embodying what it is you're here to embody. You're not holding yourself back. And I feel like too, a big part of what makes this very challenging, is just being around other people that might be still operating through this. Okay. And it's about, this is getting out of the idea of, I don't know. It's just so interesting because I feel like sometimes we can get lost in this idea that just because we know certain things that it's going to happen overnight. So there is a lot of just like being realistic about the journey and understanding too that we wouldn't be here if it was meant to happen like that. Like there's other star systems for that, Earth is its own motherfucking playing field. Okay. And so, it's really important that you guys remember that, that's the case. Okay. But I am seeing just a lot of ancient wisdom that you guys carry, and it's important that you're expressing that. It's important that you're at least trusting it, even if you feel like you can't express it yet, because that's the only way we strengthen our intuitive muscle. That's the only way that, that we can really, that's the only way that we can actually strengthen our faith. Because faith is not something where you're taking someone else's word for it. That's their gateway to God, right? Their gateway to spirit. And so I'm seeing that you guys might tend to question yourselves a lot in different ways. Everyone's going to be at different points of this. Everyone that's drawn to pile number 3. So some of you guys, it's a little bit less than others. And, but in as many ways as you can, you're following what feels the most exciting, right? And you're not guaranteed a tomorrow ever. Okay. And it's living from that kind of cosmic understanding. And it's not morbid. It's just like, here today, gone tomorrow, but, gone somewhere else in the stars and in the universe. Okay. And so it's really important that when you guys start to get kind of antsy around money, that you remember the big picture. Okay. And you remember that, it's what is going to light you up, right? Are we making decisions from as best as we can, right? Because I know, again, everyone's going to be at different areas of this. And so it's really important to honor your paradigm, honor where you're actually at, not creating something that's going to be more for you to clean up down the road, but you're just like slowly stretching past your limits. And you'll start to notice more and more that you're stretching, what seems like a little stretch for you now, like 2 years ago was would have been a huge leap. Okay. And that's what it means by kind of just like honoring your unfolding and allowing your unfolding to be what it is. Okay. And just like being tender with yourself. And you guys, this is awesome. I feel like you guys too are going to meet a lot of people if you haven't already, but there's I'm getting a lot of, feeling very abundant in terms of relationships as well. And so that's also one thing that you're starting to see, like, oh wow, money and opportunities seem to come to me even more when I'm just, connecting with people more. I'm just happier, right? And it's like putting the horse in front of the carriage. What's the most important? Connections, having the open heart. And then it's a lot easier for things to come to you. It's a lot easier for you to navigate what is me moving towards faith and what is me kind of operating from these sneaky belief systems of protection and, like hoarding and I don't have enough. There is not enough, right? And just like giving yourself permission to figure that out for yourself, because I feel like you guys might tend to be a little bit more advanced than other people around you. And it is what the fuck it is. Okay. I just hate when people like try to come at me for saying how it is. Okay. Like, man, but that's what I'm seeing. And you're on a good path. All right. And you have whatever that you have available to you to move in the directions that set you free. Start now, start with what you have, and it's only going to get easier. The right people are going to come in at the right time. You're going to have a lot of, even more so of those instances where it's like you meet someone, it's like instant soul recognition, right? You're going to have a lot of that because you are a very ancient and cosmic soul. Okay. And it's really important to keep yourself around other people that are also as creative as you and that, want out of the system and that are not engaging in the matrix and that see a different way of doing things, because y'all are going to create something extremely incredible, like very exciting. There's the potential to create something very exciting as long as you guys are really believing in it, right? Letting that energy of excitement, that fool's type of energy kind of carry you, and it'll take you where you need to go. And I swear the thing, like at the right time, the right things will come into place. The money will come, anonymous checks, you know, like that is truly possible. Okay. Or just like money out of nowhere, the right amount at the right time. Like that's happened to me. I wouldn't talk about things that I haven't seen directly, or I haven't seen through like my actual friends. Right. But yeah, and that's kind of that community. Like those are testimonies of universal law. Those are testimonies of, betting on yourself, betting on your higher self, of the universe responding to your courage. Okay. So yeah, you're protected. You've always been taken care of. You're overseen. Like there's a group of, you're overseen by like cosmic celestial beings. So, make sure you're setting boundaries with, when you tune into astral beings, just make sure you're smart. Okay. And I'm going to leave this reading here for now. If this brought clarity, confirmation, peace to your heart, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave an alien emoji down in the comment section if this was your group today, so I'll know y'all. Okay. And, I hope to see you guys on my channel soon. Much love. What's up, group number 4? If you guys chose this Paulina Tarot deck, this is your reading for what it is that you are clearing for the planet within this incarnation, the part of the collective karma you came to take on, okay? So a big part of what you guys are here to help clear has to do with not outsourcing your power, not outsourcing your sense of identity in any way to things external, right? And recognizing that those things external to you, they're here to show you where you're still giving away your power. All right. So right away, I knew this card was going to come up. I kind of felt it and I saw it in my mind's eye when I was shuffling. I knew it was going to come up for one of these piles. And, I feel like a big portion of women at this time are kind of taking on this collective karma in terms of like body dysmorphia is something that I heard, like disordered eating habits. All right. Men most certainly can take that on as well. But there's a lot here about owning your uniqueness, okay? And discarding this kind of beauty standard that, it's more in the West that I feel like it's very convoluted. And I feel like maybe this has even become like a more global thing. But what I love about like ancient teachings like Ayurveda is it acknowledges that there's actually 3 main body types. And, we kind of tend to go through cycles where just one of those body types is kind of like put on a pedestal within a culture, okay? And so there's a lot here about, embracing your beauty no matter what age you're at, right? And just reestablishing what true beauty is. And it's what the fuck's on the inside, okay? Both of these cards, the White Witch and the Magic Guardian, talk about like magic, white magic, all right? And recognizing, you guys have probably had this experience too, where you met someone that was really attractive, but just like were just like really ugly, like personality wise, okay? And I'm not judging, but I'm just, I'm not afraid to say shit how it is, okay? And that made them like very unattractive. And so I feel like a big part of like what makes you guys glow and, a big part of your guys' karma is recognizing your own beauty for what it is, and that could look a myriad of ways. Like, for me, for example, I was bullied for my curly hair because I went to schools around kids that didn't look like me. And so I like would relax my hair. I would put like harsh freaking chemicals on my head that would literally burn my scalp, that would leave burns on my scalp, chemical burns. And like my scalp would be peeling for weeks after. And it just it didn't even look good, but now that like the more that I've stepped into my own power and embraced my authenticity, my uniqueness, I feel the more beautiful I've become. And it's interesting because those external changes and embracing my external like differences and my external uniqueness, and like, I didn't actually start getting tattoos until I started feeling a certain way within myself, until I started feeling like unlocking that magic within myself. And then externally, I feel like I don't know, something happened. And like, you start to glow a different way, pal number 4. And I feel like some of you guys are already on this path where you're recognizing that the more that you unlock your magic within, the more that people are just like so attracted to you. And I feel like you are someone that is extremely wise. You give good counsel, right? You understand the process of transformation. You understand what what like moments of despair and disruption are here to do. They're here to break you open. I feel like a big part of your karma too is when you're getting too stagnant, or when you're like, when you're kind of slipping up in terms of like how much power you actually have. When you don't recognize that, that's when tower moments happen. And I feel like over time, you guys are either beginning to recognize this, or you'll kind of catch on to this eventually. It's like when you're not following what you deep down know it is that you're here for, then that's when like shit hits the fan. And that's when like, it's almost like you guys have a very narrow like pathway. You know, sometimes people feel like they have a lot of wiggle room in terms of what they can explore. And I feel like you guys have felt like very almost restricted in some senses, but it's because you're here for a very specific mission is what I'm hearing. And so it's like when you stray even a little bit off course, like straying a little bit off course in terms of like original sin, when you're going against your deepest truth, that's when shit kind of hits the fan, and it's like you're redirected pretty easily, okay? So you're here to clear victim mentality from the planet as well. When things happen to you, they're not happening to you, they're happening for you, right? They're here to show you where you're still giving away your own power. How is this here to set me free? All right, it was interesting. I didn't do this for any of the other piles, but I was guided to look at the bottom of this deck, these cards, and we had the Hierophant come up again. Okay, so a big part of whatever it is that you're learning, or yeah, whatever it is you're learning, you're going to end up teaching too as well. And it's going to be a big, I feel like that's going to be part of what brings you prosperity and what has you living a very comfortable life. Okay, and I feel like too, there's a lot here about like your mental realms of the Four of Swords and the Nine of Swords energy coming through. I feel like you guys might I don't know, like I know we all do this to different degrees, but I feel like everyone that's tuning into this, it doesn't matter where you're at in terms of how much power you maybe recognize in yourself, but you have so much more available to you. And I feel like, you know, this just kind of goes to show where we can start to get a little bit frustrated with ourselves as older souls, advanced souls, is that like we feel all of this potential within us, but then it's like we act funny and we have like social anxiety, and it's just like we're good on our own, and then we go out into the world and it just like doesn't work, it doesn't click. And a big part of that is just honoring the process, right? It's the Knight of Pentacles is someone who's steadfast, they're hardworking, they're loyal, they're someone that is very trustworthy, okay? And so you can trust your path. You can trust your path, you can trust your unfolding. No matter where you're at, it's going to continue to get better. And as you continue to sink into your natural power and you're not trying to force it, you know, the more things are just going to happen for you. Like it literally is like, seems like magical. I'm hearing for some of you guys, you're already in those realms where like things feel very like whimsical. It's interesting because this is a very whimsical deck, right? And we're talking so much about magic here, but like where things just feel very whimsical, things just seem to happen for you. And it's because when you're aligning your smaller will to the cosmos, the will of the cosmos, things just work out, right? Big part of what you're here to clear for the planet too is this idea that you have to have everything planned out before you take that next step, okay? You're helping to clear the third eye kind of stagnation, you know, opening, like cleansing the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and you're here to help people like tune into their own intuition with all of this Hierophant energy, right? Tuning into their own intuition and taking the step before it makes sense, okay? Because again, those are things that like, there's that kind of Saturnian, I'm not sure if that's a word, but the Saturnian energy that comes through of like when we're straying from our path, or we're not doing what it is that we feel like we, you know, deep down we know we should be doing, or that we know that we could be doing at the very least. That's when we start to just feel very like disturbed within ourselves. All right. And so you're learning how to make decisions, right? You're learning, and you're also helping to teach, right? What we learn as what it seems like we're here to learn for ourselves. This is what you're helping to clear for the planet. I can trust my intuition. I can trust what I'm seeing in visions. I can trust what is coming through. I can trust my own psychic senses and following those things, right? And I feel like the only time you tend to feel like things aren't working out for you is when like you knew better and you didn't do it, or you knew better and you did it anyways, you know, that kind of thing. That's what in Ayurveda they say that the three causes of disease, the three root causes, one of those is crimes against your own wisdom. So deep down knowing that you should or should not do something, and then going against what that deeper knowing is telling you. Again, you guys are very wise. You guys are very tuned in. So this is a group where you know, it's very important that you're not going out seeking for the answers without yourself. This is turning within yourself, okay? Turning to yourself and tuning into those teachers that kind of like reflect and embody the knowledge that you already have when you need that support system. Because on this planet, man, we need those reinforcements. I get it, right? But only those reinforcements that are not telling you something new, but that reminds you like, oh my God, yes. Like that feels so good. That's so possible. Okay, because you guys are here. You guys are going to be writing books. You guys are going to be giving speeches. You guys are going to be sharing this in some sort of way. And yeah, I feel like you guys have just a big part of like, I don't know. It's just interesting because this feels like multi-layered, because we did have that thing come through about just, you know, not really seeing yourself as clearly as other people do. Because I feel like you guys have probably always been a very beautiful individual, like inside and outside. But it's like, it seems the more that like, you clear your lens of perception about, the more that you expand your lens of perception, the more that you even see how beautiful you're becoming. And I feel like too, this is one of those things like, and I can like totally attest to this because I have had this in my blueprint as well, clearing like body dysmorphia. And so sometimes I like look back on pictures and I know at the time that the picture was taken, I didn't feel my best, but I'll look back at it now and I'll look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I look so good. Right. And so it's that kind of thing of like, when you feel contracted, it's so important that you're not believing your own fucking thoughts. You're not believing your own mind, okay? It's something that your guides are really reiterating, that if it's not bringing you light, if it's not bringing you closer to the light, discard it. And if it's people that are petty, if it's people that are argumentative, if it's people that, you know, tell you that you should question yourself or tell you how to live your life, like, you know, like no one asked for their opinion, and you know, you can tell them where to shove it with peace and love, because it's like you're here on you're here for a different mission, okay? And you're definitely here to be someone that is teaching ancient types of wisdoms through embodying it, okay? And so if they're not adding to your light, if they're not adding to your peace, it's like really important that we're discarding, or at the very least, you know, pausing those types of dynamics, because yeah, I'm hearing that there's a lot for you to share with this planet and with the world at this time, and making decisions and doing anything in life. It's like prosperity always follows when we're choosing those things that actually light us up. And we're not choosing it out of guilt. We're not choosing it out of obligation. We're not choosing it out of like what has built the most momentum over the most amount of time, but we're choosing it because it really like deeply feels like, I just saw 11:11 on the clock, but it just lights us up. All right. And that's what is unlocking the magic. And I feel like, you know, you guys you first of all tend to, I feel like what seems normal to you don't realize, and you don't recognize, pal number 4, that it's like kind of mind blowing for other people. So it's like when you like kind of keep your teachings or keep your understandings to yourself, you know, I'm not saying that everyone has to go out and try to like make money off of like their gifts and talents or anything, like not, you know, I'm not saying that at all, but at the very least I am saying that I feel like you guys are just like so expanded. Your normal is someone's like above and beyond in terms of how free they could be living just from how you see life, right? I feel like you've had experiences throughout your incarnation that I'm seeing here that have like kind of forced you to ask the questions in life that really mattered, all right? Ask about like, where do we go after this? Like what is life all about? All right. And that's like, had you developed a certain degree of resiliency and power, and everyone has always seen that and recognized that within you, you know, and I feel like too, it's like when you started recognizing that within yourself is when people started kind of being like, kind of gamey with you, maybe even petty, but that's when you kind of saw who was there for your, you know, who just like kind of got a weird kick off of you having a lot of power, but not seeing that within yourself, and kind of like, I don't know, liked being above you or liked being better than you or something. All right. And the more that you just have embraced your magic and embraced your gifts, I feel like it's become very clear, like who is, you know, where other people are at and where you're at. Okay. I'm going to pause this really quick because I'm getting to grab one more deck right now, you guys. So I'm going to take a quick pause. Okay. All right. So I'm back, but yeah, while I was shuffling this deck, I didn't use this deck for any other pile. So don't tell them. But yeah, I feel like a big part of just like what you're here to clear and just what you're here to give to the planet is like, I feel like you are very beautiful inside and out, like holistically beautiful. And so, you know, I feel like sometimes there can be this idea of people that are like really, you know, attractive on whatever level, or like mean and not down to earth, or, you know, just like hard to grab, or, you know, just like have better things to do, or I don't know. Like, it's interesting, but I feel like you guys really show that you're not about that. Like, it's not like we're the Kardashians and we're like super cliquey, and, you know, like, you guys feel very down to earth, and like someone that is, you know, doesn't even know. Like, I feel like when people are around you, they're like, does this person know like how great they are? And not to like, we should never feel better out like how shitty people feel, but, you know, I just feel like you guys are just the type of person to not even see things like that. And you see people, you see their soul beyond anything else. And so it really gives people this like, oh my God, there are really good people out there. Like, you really show that, you know, there are people out there that care about shit that actually matters. And not saying that taking care of yourself and your body doesn't matter, but I am saying that, you know, like, that's not the most important thing to you. It's like connecting to people and like asking those questions. Why are we here? Like, why are we, you know, operating the way that we are? How do we become better? How do we become more free? How do we utilize all of our life circumstances and the cards that we're given in order to succeed, in order to win? Okay. And so I feel like just on top of that, you're just like very beautiful and very attractive, whether you're male or female. Okay. And so I feel like too, you just like have a lot of things, a lot of people, a lot of options in your life. And those doorways are going to be opening up for you more and more. Like, there's so many directions I feel like you guys could go based off the codes that I'm seeing, but you guys know, like, you guys know when you're super locked into that thing you're supposed to be doing, whether or not it changes. Okay. So what is pile number 4 clearing for the planet at this time? What is pile 4 clearing for the planet at this time? All right, there's more of that ocean. Look, we have more of the oceanic type of energy. So you're taking people into the depths of themselves. Yeah, you're taking people past superficiality, all right, and into themselves. You're teaching people how to go into themselves. It's part of what you're helping to clear for the planet, is this idea that we have to look without of ourselves. We have to blame our lack of power or lack of sense of power on what's happening outside of ourselves. And you're like, no, like, it's all within. You know, you're helping to redirect people to the depths of themselves, you know, and this is stuff that can't be taken away. You're teaching people like things that are going to be carried lifetimes, things that actually make the difference on the level of the soul, versus like, oh, what makeup do you wear? What foundation do you wear? And like, get that, you know, I'm not dogging that. If you like makeup, what the fuck ever. I don't care. You know, I'm not here to judge, but I am here to say that you guys are here talking about real shit. Okay, and you're here to get beyond the superficiality of things and to guide people into themselves and to empower people, to show people how to trust themselves above anything else, right? And that is the greatest gift you can give to someone. That's what a true teacher is, okay? A true teacher doesn't want to have students. A true teacher doesn't even see themselves as a teacher. They're like, we're in this together, okay? And is not about putting themselves on a pedestal and wanting to seem better than other people, right? That's not a true teacher. That's someone that has, you know, some issues that they're still working out and they probably don't see, okay? But I feel like you're very equalizing. That's something that really is coming through. You're like, we're in this together. You really do see the togetherness of this earth experience, this human experience. And that is why you are such a light, okay? And you're helping other people discover the light within themselves, right? And to, you know, recognize when they're acting out of this sense of disempowerment. And again, how, like, helping people discern and to figure it out for themselves. So it's not like they're going out and having to like come to you every time, but you're really unlocking people, right? Your mission is to really unlock people on the level that matters. That's what a true teacher is. They will show you, they will point you to the God within, right? They will point you to the teacher, the guru within, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the empty room. This is so beautiful. So I feel like, you know, a big part of what you are here to give to the planet is like getting beyond the box, okay? And releasing, letting go of ideas, letting go of like just these molds that society try to put around us. And what makes the greatest servant, what makes the greatest teacher is the more empty they are of their own ideas. And I feel like that's one of the reasons too. It's like you don't recognize how beautiful you are. You don't recognize the impact that you actually make. I think you guys get glimpses and you guys can kind of see, but pile number 4, you guys are above and beyond than what you even give yourself credit for. Like you are a real one, pile number 4. You show people like what it means to be a selfless servant, okay? And to some degree, we're all going to have selfish motives. Like literally the ego has to operate for you know, an experience on earth to be possible. So I don't know why we started like talking shit about the ego, because it's necessary. It's our vehicle to having this experience, okay? But for the most part, you guys, like, you're operating with a sense of purity, like with a sense of selflessness. Like I have nothing, like I want nothing from this, right? Like I have empty expectations from this, but I just want to do the best. I just want to be the best version of myself that I can. I want to leave the world a better place. I want to help empower other people. I want to have conversations that matter. I want to like have deep conversations, and I want to help dispel this like gross, icky, competitive like energy that we can tend to have on this planet, right? And yeah, this is so powerful. And so probably a lot of the ways that what you have felt, I wouldn't be surprised if in your early incarnation or a big part of your like journey here, generally what we are here clearing for the planet is what we've experienced firsthand. So I wouldn't be surprised if you experienced a lot of feeling like disempowered, right? And a lot of feeling like you had a lot of surface types of relationships that you kind of cringed over. Like small talk is probably the death for pal number 4. I bet like y'all start having small talk and you're like, this is not it. I would rather be at home. Okay. And so, yeah, this is incredible. Taking space when you need to, understanding like the power of the mind, thoughts, illusion, right? That kind of thing. And tuning into the depths of the heart, right? With all of this like emotive energy that is coming up, not being scared of things, right? This is very universal with all of the stars, very universal, very wise soul with a lot to teach, with a lot to share. All right. And so, yeah, I mean, this is so powerful. You guys are super tuned in. If you like needed any type of reminder, you guys get a lot of synchronicities, messages. You hear your guides. Some of you see your guides. Like you're very tuned in your own way psychically. And it's really important that you're not taking your cues from the outside. All right. No matter what stage you're at, as much as you can, you're not looking outside for you to decide how things work and the directions you should go, because you're here to like cultivate and to explain something in a very unique way. Because a lot of the time in spirituality, if you've noticed, like, you know, I've been in this field for many years, right? Probably like actively for 7 years. And so you start to hear the same shit regurgitated over and over again, right? And which is fine. It's whatever. I'm not judging anything. But it's like, you can really tell when someone's tuned into an authentic soul stream, because the way they say it, man, just hits. And it just is like so unique. It's so them. It's so different, you know, and it's powerful. It's those things that are coming from our soul stream, which is coming from our heart, right? And not necessarily the mind. That is the most powerful, and that changes people on the level that matters the most, on the level that makes the most tangible difference, right? And so it's really important that you guys are cultivating that more and more every day. And trusting yourself above anything else, trusting yourself, because you are at that point where it's pivotal for your evolution. Yeah, this is one of those groups where it is pivotal that, you know, like a big part of, I feel like a test, if you could, like, I hate saying test, but a big part of this, your journey, your mission on earth at this time is like becoming the teacher, right? And having so much faith, developing that like unshakable faith. You know, they say there's 4 levels of faith. You're moving to faith level 4, where it's coming from within, and you don't need those support systems without so much. Okay. But yeah, this is powerful, very powerful. You guys are tuned in, right? You know, pay no mind to those mental demons or anything. That's just part of the process. Right. And at some point when those scales do tip, if they haven't already tipped for some of you, which they have, this is just confirmation of how far you've come and how tapped in and tuned in you are, and how it's okay to continue to relax in your power and to trust yourself and to not like wonder if it's okay for you to be who you are. Okay. Because it's more than okay. It's what this planet asked for. It's what this planet needs. Okay. So you're on the right path, and it's going to lead to greater prosperity, greater relationships, greater just fulfillment in general. All right. And I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, and peace to your heart today, my friends. If it did, what could we leave for like a teacher? Maybe leave like a book, the book emoji down below if you chose pal number 4. And yeah, I hope to see you on my channel again soon. Please like this video if it resonated. And yeah, I hope to see you soon.